Hello everyone. I'd like to make this video. Okay. Hello everyone. I'm making this video because I wanted to share some of my background and some of my experience with healing and just kind of how it has helped me tremendously and why I've decided to make this the focus of my life is to help others find that healing. You know, I'm not trying to talk too much shit about the medical system. They do try, but there's some things that they just, I don't know, they just fail to grasp. And obviously they can be helpful in many cases, but I think they're missing a lot of it. And that's what's so fascinating about alchemy. It's like alchemy was a complete, well, it still is a complete comprehensive system of medicine that was practiced by the ancient Egyptians, um, in Europe, and many other places. There's a rich tradition of alchemy all across the world, and I think it all originated. Oh, well, Manly P. Hall basically claims that it originated in Atlantis. I tend to believe that because it kind of spread all over the world, and then people kept it going. But it's a really wild system. It is based on correspondences. So there's like um, they had seven different planets that they acknowledged, and then they had the metals associated to those. Now, obviously, there's more metals than what they had um, written about, but it's a pretty interesting, comprehensive system. And that's just one angle too. There's many different disciplines that I've studied, but in terms of the alchemy, it's kind of just to give you an example. The like the metal gold um, corresponds to the solar plex chakra, and the eyes and the heart on the physical level. It corresponds to Sunday. Um, so it's like there's all these different, um, I don't know how you would say, but almost like octaves of energetic condensation or something like that. It's way more complicated than that, I know, and I know there's people that are way into alchemy that probably know a lot more than I do about it. Um, but that's just one kind of tool that we have. And the thing I really like about alchemy is the rasayana kind of effects that you get with it. So you can increase ojas with it. But the main healing that I found is so much easier than complicated medical systems. It's really just bringing the body back online with what the body was engineered to use as fuel and to be properly hydrated, because there's nothing outside of us that's doing the healing. The healing actually comes from within, and it's our own bodies that do the healing when it has the energy required to actually do the work. So when we're chronically deprived of energy, then the body can't do the healing, the reparative sleep, and all of those sort of things. So it sounds so simple, and it is, but in practice, it's probably, I mean, really just eating fruits, enough fruits, and some leafy greens, um, but just doing the raw protocol, which is like kind of, if you just look around in nature, we don't have a flamethrower as an appendage, and we also don't have the equipment to tear apart a cow and consume it. So that should be the clue right there that we're perhaps off track on things. But when you do actually put the healing fruits and those things that we were designed to eat and designed to give us proper hydration, it's literally just such a powerful healing. And I don't know, some of you know about Dr. Morris. He's probably one of the legends, even though I have some issues with him not sticking to his own advice. But it's difficult, man, especially with food addictions. But his word should be honored, and the results that he's gotten are very impressive. And the results that I've seen with the people I help have also been pretty substantial, pretty amazing reversals of different things. But I remember one video in particular with Dr. Morse. It's called like toe tissue regeneration, and it's called like the toe, and it's so crazy. He literally had a patient that cut his toe, and the doctors, and he had diabetes and all this stuff too. He was overweight, but he was on grapes, literally nothing but grapes for 30 days, and I think they combined it with some herbs, and yeah, this guy literally, again, the Western doctors wanted to cut his toe off, or even worse, but um, so what happened was the body, when given this grapes, this level of hydration that his body had not known before, it pushed this necrotic waste out of his toe, like the firecrackers, the snake that you would light on fire and it makes that black stuff that comes out. It was so freaking crazy, man, and it like came out, it like zipped itself back up, and it grew. It didn't grow a toenail back, but it was like, holy crap, man. Not just with my own eyes seeing that, but I've seen, not like that level, but I've seen other stuff like, diabetes reversing, and different things. Like, it's kind of funny because I was talking to one of my friends recently, and he had expressed some concern about candida in fruits, and like, obviously if you ferment grapes, you're going to get wine, and there's obviously a yeast involved in that fermentation process. But it doesn't work that way. When you eat fruits, you're not going to increase your candida. I know people want to think that, and that's fine. Um, but if you think about how long it takes to ferment the grapes into wine, it's not in your body that long. So it's just such a powerful protocol, and the stuff we put in our body will actually create the um, environment in our body for certain things to proliferate. So we want like a healthy balance of like 20% yeast and 80% bacteria. And that's just by ingesting the right food will create that environment. So it's like you don't have to add something magical. Um, Now you can get into stuff like systemic enzymes and probiotics and stuff, but I guess a lot of people don't think that's necessary, and I personally don't think it's necessary. Um, but yeah, the systemic enzymes will help break down some of the existing candida. But once you go into the raw fruits and just go that for a minute, um, the body just kind of kicks back online, and that's the healing instrument. So um, yeah, we want to just really be hydrated, and the astringent nature of the grapes is super powerful. So the main thing that happens with the standard American diet is that we it actually compromises the kidneys, and so a lot of the waste that the lymphatic system is trying to drain through the kidneys and out into the urine is blocked, and so that backup, as Dr. Morse says, it's the sewer system backing up, and that's a really good analogy. And yeah, so it's like the blood serves the food or the nutrients via the kitchen, as he says, and then the lymph is the waste. So the main thing is just getting the kidneys to filter, because it's not supposed to let nothing out. It's supposed to let out particle waste, and so it's really important to just get the kidneys going. And just there was a book actually called The Grape Cure by a South African, Johanna Brandt or something like that, and she talks about doing the water fasting and how she would be able to clear the cancer, and then it would come back, and then do it again and come back. But she said that when she did the grapes, that's what knocked it out. And I know from the alchemical perspective that the grapes are the pinnacle of the vegetable genera or kingdom, as you will. So there's a lot of powerful things that you can do with grapes. The medicinal value of grapes is absolutely mind blowing. What it can facilitate the body to do. So, so I like the alchemy is a great way to. It's kind of an interesting subject because when you work with the gold, you're doing a catalytic reaction. It's called a polymeric catalytic reaction that uses the metal to create these complex hydrocarbons from these basic building blocks. So the metal is used, but it's not included in the final tincture. And so, there's a lot of people out there that promote the monatomic gold, and I'm not saying anything one way or another about it. I just prefer to use these traditional ones that have gone back throughout the centuries and who have been, you know, Basil Valentine and Paracelsus and Glauber and all these different people that were involved in this art. I just figure that there's a reason it went on for so long, and if you study the tradition of alchemy, it definitely goes back a long way. So those systems, like the gold, for instance, it's not like you have to take the gold the rest of your life. The gold is great for like a catalyst to change your life, and so it somehow, the best I can explain it is it stimulates the pineal gland, and I don't know for sure what the mechanism is behind it, but it seems to work on the pineal gland, which and also increases your field, so that it sort of increases the transmission and the reception of our connection to the ether, the morphogenetic field, the quantum field, whatever you want to call it. And so it allows much greater ease in the manifestations and what we hope to accomplish. But it's also a very powerful cellular rejuvenation and a metabolic restoration. So using the gold is a great way to turn the corner on the standard American diet or drug addiction or anything like that. I mean, I'm a living example of moving through addiction. You know, I understand the difficulties of being addicted to stuff, but it's like I kind of realized that it's almost like um, addiction's kind of like a cheat code to feeling good. When we eat our actual species specific diet, we actually feel that good even better than that. So it's kind of like, and we have all this energy, and it's just absolutely insane until you actually live a raw food diet for a while. It's hard to express what is taking shape. Um, but yeah, it's pretty crazy when you get on the raw diet and the feelings of just joy, connection, and you literally feel like you're euphoric when you do this stuff. And it's it may sound simple to do the raw food, but because of all the food addiction around the standard American diet, you know, it's like it's easier to quit drugs than it is to eat raw food. I don't know how else I can explain it, because we a lot of the food that we eat in the standard American diet has been stuffing down emotion and numbing us to reality. So when you get on the raw stuff, it's like a spiritual experience, really. And it's like you see things clearly, you process emotion. Um, it's also, I feel, important to stay hydrated because some people just think that you can eat the raw food and that's enough water because it's so highly penetrating the water into the cell. Um, so yeah, it's like once we sorry, I got distracted. Yeah, once we get through all the food addictions and stuff and all the emotions that were associated with it, and then also the fat the fat is storing all these things as well. So when you burn off the fat, you kind of go through all these things, and yeah, it's pretty intense. It's definitely a spiritual experience. But yeah, I wanted to also share with you some results I got. I know I made a post the other day about the woman that I helped with her situation when she was a vendor basically, and kind of going through it. And I was able to just, it was so funny to see her face. Like it was like, what's going on in my body? And so, um, yeah, I love doing that stuff. I love being able to help people turn the corner on stuff. So yeah, that's why I love doing the alchemy and the raw food, because the alchemy kind of, it's a weird thing. It detoxes you on such a level. I've had experience with this where I had a partner at the time, and I think it was 2013, 2000, yeah, 2013. And my other friend Peter also recognized this before, with some of the ormus he was working with. But it like brings you down off the high that you're experiencing. So there was a guy at the festival and he was like running around in the parking lot naked, throwing rocks at cars. And he sat down for a sec. I don't know why this is funny, because it was pretty crazy at the time. But he sat down and somehow, I don't know the exact details, but I thought she just put some gold in his mouth. But she told me later that she asked him if she could do that, and so he was like, yeah. And then she squeezed like a whole dropper of gold into his mouth, and he immediately snapped out of whatever psychedelic trip he was on. It was literally crazy. Like, I was like, how can a substance like that take you down off of a trip? But it's such a powerful detox. So, I don't recommend taking a whole dropper full, but just a couple drops a day will initiate the detox on a cellular level. And it seems to affect the mitochondria or the ATP process in a positive way, because you do get a lot of energy with the gold. And I also think that it stimulates the pineal gland because of the lucid dreaming effect that it has. It's a very powerful substance. It's not gold, colloidal gold. It's not Ormus gold. It's not. There's no metal left in this product after the reaction takes place. So but it has the imprint, as my teacher told me, that it has the imprint of gold within this hydrocarbon solution that it creates, or tincture that it creates. And then that we are able to get the benefits of the metal with all the correspondences, without actually ingesting the metal, because as you know, metals are toxic. We don't eat metal. Um, we get certain elementals in plant, like copper and stuff, in plants, and I think there's gold in eggplant, but it's not. The way I look at it, it's like eating the almond with the shell on it. So you want to be able to get to the nutrients of this almond or the gold or whatever, which is well, maybe that's not a good example, um, but yeah, I wanted to share with you some results too. Like, I have a friend in Canada, and he's been doing the gold. He's been doing quite a lot of the gold actually for probably the last year or two, and he just sent me a picture of his before and after. Oh my God, this guy is ripped. Like, he has the six pack, it's huge, and it's like, dang, what happened? But it just shows you, it's like the gold itself is not going to make you muscular. It's the fact that it gives you the courage, the will, the strength to get what needs to be done. So um, he took his gold and forged ahead with having this killer physique. And I think it helps you with the will and the courage to do some of these things. So I've seen it move through people with addiction. I've seen it um, create these positive health outcomes. I've seen it life extension. And I mean, there's no way to prove that obviously, but it supposedly does have these life extension qualities. And it also has this youthful type effect. So some of the people that are my clients that have been doing it for like 10, 12 years now, you can see that they've just aged slower. And I get feedback all the time where it's like, oh my gosh, that gold like changed my life. I ended up going to this country that I wanted to go to and have all these things happen that I wanted to happen. So I believe it has an effect on the manifestation process for sure. And yeah, it's just a really powerful instrument. And if you can only do one thing, maybe not the raw food right away, but the gold will definitely, especially if you're eating a diet of like the standard American diet or whatever, we want to be able to clear the cells out and get the hydration going. So in the meantime, the gold is a really a fascinating um, way to actually get some of the detoxing. There's nothing that will actually detox on that level. I've actually seen another client in Houston, Texas. Um, my, his name's Darren. He's an amazing guy, and he was dealing with cadmium poisoning, and he was taking the gold, and he went through probably 10 of them actually. And his practitioner that was helping him, I think it was either a naturopathic doctor or something like that, was like they got his hair report back, and he was the practitioner was like, "Oh my God, how are you standing? Most people that I get this kind of test result back is in bedridden. They can't work. They can't. They're like completely poisoned by this stuff." So I I theorized that the gold was pushing out all the cadmium that was being recorded in his hair, and yeah, because it's a really profound detox, and yeah, we get really good results with uh, doing this kind of detoxing kind of stuff. But beyond that, like once you're detoxed and then you're in this other place of health and healing, then you get into the Rasayana type effects, which is increasing the ojas. Because I know in the Ayurvedic tradition, um, they use gold basmas, which are actually still gold, but they're like nano sized pieces of gold, and they're repeatedly fired in these little clay balls that have like my teacher used to wrap them in a t-shirt with mud on them and then put them in like a pit, and then depending on the type of heat you can use, like if you want a wet heat, if that sounds, I know that sounds kind of crazy, but you would use like horse dung, and I hope I have that right, but if I don't have that right, somebody can correct me. But yeah, there's different levels of heat. But anyway, you do this like 100 times or something like that is what they did, and they would use these substances in their rasayana, which is increasing the ojas. Which the ojas, I think, what happens with the ojas is it um, is clarified into the tejas, but it's essentially gives luster. It also this energy can be used for healing. It can be used for a number of different things. So the accumulation of ojas is usually through the digestion of food, but when you take the gold or even diamond, um, which I'm going to be making here soon, so stay tuned on that one. But yeah, it will actually uh, increase ojas. So yeah, and let's see, what else do I want to say? Um, yeah, just based on my experience, I mean, I'm completely sober right now, and I feel like it's weird because I know that when I would dip back and forth, my hair would change colors, like it would get grayish, and then it would come back fuller. So there's something going on with, like right now I'm taking gold, silver, copper, and three kings all together, and I'm having them, and I'll also do shilajit. I love shilajit, but I'm just having these incredibly lucid, profound dreams, and yeah, and I just feel great. So I don't like take it forever. I'll do go a time on and then a time off, but right now I'm really enjoying it, and it's really beneficial to me. So if there's any questions, let me see if I can read some questions here. Oh, hey John, how's it going? John is an amazing human being. I got to know him, and he does really, really good work. And God bless you too, my brother. Oh, thanks, Thomas Adams. That's awesome to hear. You're amazing, bro. Thank you, Lou. I so appreciate you. You do some amazing work, actually. I've been, following you now for a while, and You're doing some really incredible work. If anybody wants to look into her work, she does some awesome womb healing work, and she's into the healing and stuff. She's absolutely amazing. So check her out. Um, so yeah, and right now it's so beautiful out today. We had some snow a couple days ago, and the snow's melting on the mountains, of course. But it's just a beautiful day, and I get to go outside and trim the mango tree, and the loquats are going off right now, and the grapefruits are almost there. It's like I don't understand what the heck is wrong with the grapefruit. It takes like a year and a half for the fruit to produce. But yeah, the grapefruits are finally getting ready. They're just turning color, so I don't know. It might be still a couple months though, knowing that tree. But yeah, the backyard. I mean, it rains so much that it's like walking on pillows in the backyard. It's like the whole soil is just alive with microbes. I've of course inoculated that soil. I've put ash in the soil, and I've put like um, all kinds of stuff in that soil to really build it up. But it's so rich that the skunks, I saw a skunk, I think it was yesterday, they'll dig into the soil and they eat these grubs. There is like so many grubs in the backyard right now, and it's like a buffet for these raccoons. Um, I'm sorry, skunks, but raccoons also come back here. We have raccoons. Um, we have possums. I actually had a turtle in the backyard. I don't know how the heck it got there. There's like a channel out in the backyard that's like it's a concrete channel that kind of funnels the rainwater into the river. It's like I live really close to the Santa Ana River within walking distance, so it's like a little channel that channels it out, and it's usually running water and stuff. Um, but yeah, everything's going off in the backyard right now, really beautiful, and I'm really happy about it. So if there's any questions or anything, I'm happy to help. I love helping people. Like that's my calling, is to help people navigate this process so they don't have to go it alone like I did. Um, you always have help. I'll always help anybody for free. I also offer like custom packages for coaching, but I will never turn anyone down that needs help. So if you need my help, and you know where I came from, so I came from, the drug addiction. I came through the mystery illnesses that I couldn't figure out, and then everything came back online and stuff for me with the different protocols that I use. So I'm really really happy to share them with you, and it's just been a joy to be able to do this. I've got a couple clients now that I just got off a phone call yesterday with someone from Canada, another person from Canada, and it was such a like the like he was so grateful for the information, and I was like, I felt a level of satisfaction, and just it felt so good to be able to help someone. It's like I know now that that's my calling, and I just love doing that. It just makes me feel alive. I realize that that's my mission. That's like the calling that God has put in my heart to do, and so I'm really happy to help anyone get on the path and live their best life, because we don't we tend to think that life goes on forever in our mindset, but there should be some urgency in getting your your dreams from your heart into the reality. um, and I help people find that, and it's in there. Even if you don't know that it's in there, there's ways to figure it out. And essentially it's just your service is what you love to do, what your experience is, and how you can be of service to other people. So it's really quite simple. You kind of just write down some things about what makes you feel alive, passionate, and based on your experience. And even if you don't have experience, guess what? No one does. Everybody learns real time. So, and everybody also, if you think that there's something like, oh, that's already being done, but it's not being done by you, and then people want that different lens, because there's nothing new under the sun, right? Like I didn't invent alchemy. I didn't invent raw food. I didn't invent any of that. I didn't invent permaculture. I just took it and made it my own. And that's what you're here to do, is live your experience out, and then be of service to other people, and or find something that you really vibe with, like even if it's just motorcycles or something, there's always something to be able to communicate, and there's always knowledge that somebody's going to want to experience. So I think that's it for today, but yeah, like really enjoyed this video and love you guys. It's so much fun to be alive right now. And if you're out there struggling, you're not alone. Like I know what you're going through. Like I went through literally hell, and like all I could do is be in the fetal position while I was coming off some of this stuff. And just yeah, I'm here to help, and it's not over. It's just beginning, and it's really just a shift in perspective, and having someone that has plowed through and knows the little intricacies of moving through all that stuff. So I'm happy to help anybody, and you have a beautiful day.